So, when you talk about the NFC South, you think about in the previous seasons the great quarterback play that was with Drew Brees and then Tom Brady really controlling the division and stuff like that. But this year, with the retirement of Tom Brady, there isn't really a quarterback to really be dominant really right now this season. At least not off the top of my head, or has proven himself yet to be that type of quarterback for the division. And that's where we are at here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is that we are on the post-season with post-retirement excursion without Tom Brady on the roster. Of course, Tom Brady took this team that was basically a 500 team, turned them into a Super Bowl champions. Last year, they almost didn't even make the playoffs. It was a close season last year. They went 8-9. A bad record. Like, they went negative, but they still made the playoffs. I guess that was good for them. But with everyone else getting better in the division, how did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do without Tom Brady here on the roster? Well, they went out and they drafted a defensive lineman, and Casey. I can't really say his first name. I don't really know how to say his first name, but the Pittsburgh defensive lineman coming in with a 19th overall pick for the Buccaneers. Really, the question, though, is who are they having to replace Tom Brady? Well, they brought in Baker Mayfield as well from the Rams. So let's talk about the offense first. Of course, the offense still has Mike Evans, still has Chris Godwin. Tight end is kind of iffy here and there. I'm not really sold on Kate Auden, but, you know, we'll see. The offensive line is also really bad. I mean, Wolfs is the only one that's really, I think, is a decent, you know, a left tackle or tackle just in general, but the other ones are just kind of like meh. But the whole story is going to be, how is Baker Mayfield going to be actually able to take over the reins from Tom Brady? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not really a firm believer in Baker Mayfield. He's been very lackluster his whole season. He had one good season in Cleveland where he actually led them to the playoffs and won a playoff game. But then after that, after he gets injured during the regular season, that next season after that, and he becomes basically obsolete. There's a reason why they traded off, they spent money to get Deshaun Watson, and then basically took Baker to the wayside. And then he brought in Baker for, I believe, Carolina, and Carolina just didn't do that good with Baker Mayfield under center. So yeah, I mean, can Baker have a career resurgence in Tampa Bay? Absolutely can, and if he has a talent, he will. Because, I mean, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are two good receivers. I know they're maybe at the tail end, like Mike Evans might be at the tail end of his career, but he's still like a really elite receiver in the NFL. I mean, like, you know, there's that too. I mean, he is 30 years old and stuff like that, but at the same time, he's still an elite receiver. Chris Godwin, I believe, is still young as well. He's like in 27, 28 years old, I believe. So, I think the receiver is going to get done. On the defensive side of the ball, I mean, you still have Villa. You still have Levante David, Devin White, Shaquille Barrett. This defense front seven is monstrous. And then you add Casey on the line as well. I can see his defensive line getting some problems for offenses, but the secondary is kind of lackluster. The only one that I really know off the top of my head on this defense is Winfield Jr., who is a free safety for the Buccaneers. After that, it's kind of meh. I'm not really sold on them yet. They gotta prove it to me that they can do stuff without the defensive line getting help and blah blah. But you know what? Let's just go to the scheduling. Alright, so this is what I have the Buccaneers going this season. I have them going a 3-14 record, a ceiling of 5-12 if everything goes right, and a floor of 2-15 if everything goes absolutely wrong. I'll be honest with you, most of my picks here, sorry, I have like a little bit of cough, give me a second. A lot of my picks here is based on the fact that I don't believe in Baker Mayfield, and I think that's going to cost the Bucs game this season. Week 1, I have them losing to the Vikings. I have them losing week 2 to the Bears. Week 3 to the Eagles. Week 4 to the Saints. Week 6 to the Lions. Week 7 to the Falcons in a close contest, which could go either way. Losing to the Bills, losing to the Texans. They lose to Tennessee in a close contest. They lose to the Niners in a blowout. I think the Niners are going to completely beat the shit out of them. They beat the Colts in a close game. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Falcons. They lose to Green Bay. They lose to Jacksonville. They lose to the Saints. And then they lose to Carolina at the end of the season. Now, of course, if Baker Mayfield surprises me and shows out, a lot of this can turn to like a 9-8 season or an 8-9 season, really. But, I mean, for the Buccaneers' sake, I think going 3-14 and going for a draft pick is better for them in their situation that they're in right now, especially going for a quarterback and then just build off of that. And honestly, with Mike Evans getting older, you know what, I'm going to save this for final thoughts. Let's just go to the final thoughts real quick before I say this. So, my closing thoughts for the Buccaneers this season, it's time to rebuild from the ground up. I think maybe trading Mike Evans might be like a solid pick for them as well. Load up on draft picks. Don't have to trade Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin can stay there. I mean, he's still 27. He's still like in his, you know, younger. He's in the mid of his career, but I think it's time to trade Mike Evans, get some good like stuff from him, and rebuild within 2 years, and then be back as the elite Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that we knew and loved when Tom Brady was there when they won the Super Bowl, or even before that when they had Warren Sapp and stuff like that. I mean, that team was atrocious to play against, really, on defense at least. But if they can bring back the old Buccaneer defense this season and show off and stuff like that, then hey, maybe I'm just speaking too soon and maybe not have to trade Mike Evans or get, like, you know, go for a younger team and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens this season. But that is just my prediction for the Buccaneers this season. What are your predictions for the Buccaneers this season? Please leave them in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video, please hit the follow button or the subscribe button, and also hit that like button. It's much appreciated as always. I'll see you for our next team that we'll be talking about, and that's gonna be the Carolina Panthers. See you guys then.